Hello, everybody. My name's George, and my thought for today follows our Lent theme of Bible characters who demonstrate that they have broken bits and weirdness in their life. This week, I have been thinking about David. David, the really well-known Bible character, began as a shepherd boy, surprisingly became the king, and then eventually was, of course, the ancestor of Jesus Christ, who in the Gospels is referred to as Son of David. So really firmly part of God's plan for the world, for salvation. Yet his life along the way was full of all kinds of broken bits and weirdness. There's so many memorable episodes. Been looking particularly today at 1 Samuel chapter 25. So what books of first book of Samuel and second book of Samuel is where you find the story of David's life. And this is 1 Samuel 25. It's before he became king. Saul is king. And David was Saul's helper, and Saul looked to him. But he's become now a rival. Saul sees him as a threat. And so there's this conflict going on, and Saul is chasing David and his men. They're on the run, chasing him across the countryside. David finds somebody called Nabal and asks Nabal for help. Nabal is a good person to ask for help because he's really wealthy, but he's also really bad-tempered. It does seem possible that his temper in the situation here was justified, perhaps, because David, with his band of armed warriors, looks like he's asking for help. It may be he's kind of asking for protection money. There's a bit of a threat implied in what David's doing by asking help from Nabal. Anyway, Nabal gets very angry and refuses to give any supplies to the fugitives. David responds in an equally angry way and is sort of bitterly in conflict, and he gets ready to attack, gets his soldiers ready for the next day to attack. At this point, the wife of Nabal, called Abigail, intervenes. She sees what's going to happen, sees the disaster that's going to befall her husband Nabal, and she goes out secretly at the night to see David. She brings some supplies with her as a sort of token of goodwill and speaks really persuasively to David, pointing out that in coming to speak to him and persuading him not to attack, she's actually doing him a great favour, because he was going to look bad. He was going to incur what's he called in the Old Testament blood guilt by killing Nabal. She's saving him from this. Well, David is thoroughly charmed. Well, Abigail goes home to find Nabal drunk. That's been Nabal's response to the situation, to get really drunk. So she waits till the morning to tell him what's happened, that David is preparing to come and attack him, that she's tried to persuade David, she's not sure if it's worked. When Nabal hears, he's so crushed by the news that David is so against him that all the fight goes out of him. He loses his will to live, and 10 days later, so all of a sudden, Nabal dies. Well, straight away, David steps in and calls Abigail to come to him and to marry him. He marries her quickly. It's as if he's fallen in love with her beauty. He's been charmed by her persuasiveness. He sees perhaps she's a great asset with cunning, with bravery. This is a classic example from David's life. Very little about David's life and his progress towards being king was pure or simple. There are all kinds of hiccups and bumps along the way. Like this one single chapter, it's like a soap opera full of this range of huge emotions, some behaviour that's good and lots of behaviour that's really bad. In many ways, David's broken, and in quite a few ways, his life story is weird. Or rather, we might say his life story is weird in a normal way. In fact, I think we all have coincidences. We all have mixtures of emotions. We all have situations that were unexpected, which have got us to where we are. Well, I hope that it's not just King David and me that find that. How does your life compare with this story? I love this verse from Romans chapter 8 in the New Testament. We know that all things work together for good for those who love God, who are called according to his purpose. God has called you. God does have a plan. Let's look out for the good, coming out of whatever broken and weird situation that we encounter. Hope you have a good day. Bye.